Okada Omega Dominion 2018. Was the match really that good? Um, so if you didn't know, this past weekend, Okada and Omega, who have had a string of amazing matches over the last year or two, had another match. I think this would be maybe the fourth match in this series. And after this match happened, a lot of people ran to YouTube and social media and declared it a classic. Many people saying it's the greatest match, period, across all promotions of all time. And let me tell you, when I heard that, I said, let me go check this out. And I watched the match, and I was wondering, what the heck were people talking about? I thought I missed something. When I first watched the match, and I seen everything, but I was half sleepy. Like, I feel like I missed subtle details. And when I heard that Meltzer gave it like a seven Dragon Balls or something, I thought, okay, this dude is hyper biased. And I do think in general that he's biased. But then I thought, let me go back and watch this match again. Because the first time I watched the match, I was convinced it was a very good match. But I didn't think it was, any special than any other good match when I first watched it. But then I went and I sat down and I watched it again, fully awake, fully, eyes completely focused. And being able to watch it as a fan, which is the best way to watch these sort of things, is to watch it as a fan and be dialed in, without too many distractions. And when I watched it that way, that's when I saw the magic. This was a really incredible match. It went on for pretty much over an hour, and it really, for me, I don't know if I would call it the best match ever, but it was one of the best. It is one of the best matches I've ever seen in one of the purest ways possible. And I think it solidifies one of these guys as really being maybe the legit best wrestler on the planet. And that person is Okada, not necessarily Omega. Okada, New Japan's former champion, spoilers if you hadn't seen the match yet. But Okada's, and these title defenses he's had, he's put together a string of amazing matches. Like, half of his defenses are a lot of all-time great matches, and this one, he shined so good that it came to a point where it made me appreciate pro wrestling even more, which a lot of New Japan's better matches do. They rekindle why you like pro wrestling, but it also made me appreciate it on a different level. This particular match had good storytelling, and it was paced really good. That's probably was the best part of the match, was its pacing. And I know sometimes when you hear that a match is amazing, you can go in expecting to see something insane, insanely athletic or insanely violent, looking for stuff that you hadn't seen before. And I think as the biggest tip of my cap, this match didn't really have that. Nothing about this match was so insane in terms of physicality that you just think, man, that was just nuts on a physicality sense. And it wasn't so rehearsed that, there's a fine line. And this is why I think Okada might legit be the best wrestler in the world. In wrestling, there's all kinds of types of wrestling matches, and I enjoy all of them. Yeah, ones like what Ospreay and Ricochet do, where they kind of, I don't want to say flip around in a negative sense, but it's real athletic, it's really flashy, I guess is how I want to say it. And there's nothing wrong with that. High impact, high speed, just high, you'll know if you've seen that type of match in that type. And there's guys like Sammy and Macho Man and Steamboat and Ric Flair. And these are wrestlers they're really crisp. They're really, you can tell they really know what they're doing in terms of doing their moves in certain ways. And I think the best example might be a guy like Randy Orton, who for a good while I considered the best. You could just tell that Randy really knows what he's doing. But Okada, and this match really drove it home. I advise you to go check out a lot of his other work, especially a lot of his other title defenses. Okada has done very few things that are just athletically blow your mind. Nothing. In fact, he does nothing that's athletically mind-blowing. He's not smooth, he's not perfect, which brings an air of believability to his matches. The way he carries himself, the way he sells, that's like, how you look when you take damage. That's the essence of what pro wrestling is, and pro wrestling at its best was what Okada did in this match with Omega. And to Kenny's credit, Kenny Omega, he's definitely the hot wrestler. Everybody's high on him, and I really like what he do. He brings good intensity, especially with his V-trigger knees and his one-winged angel, and he knows how to turn up intensity at the right spots. A lot of stamina for getting through the matches. You need a good dance partner like Omega. But really, Okada is what makes the matches special. The way he carries himself. Like this dude finisher, the Rainmaker, is a clothesline or a lariat. And he'll do a hold. He'll do really good drop kicks. And tombstone power drivers. And I mean, they got matches where guys are half killing themselves just to get the crowd invested. But what Okada did in this match was just carry himself like a champion. And kudos to the match because they didn't go with a bunch of near falls. They didn't go with a bunch of kicking out of people finishes. It was so well done, but you have to be at a mature state of being a wrestling fan to receive it. Like if you only like what the Young Bucks do, and you consider that being the best as far as like a super kick party, and if you're convinced that any one style of wrestling is what's right, you might not be able to receive this match as well. This match was perfectly paced. It had all the right booking in terms of just showing people being tired, people being strong, people being defiant, without trying to kill themselves. So is it the best match ever? I don't know. I wouldn't. It's tough to say that. I do think if you've been invested in the storyline of Kenny Omega, even if you've been invested in Okada, it is definitely one of the best matches I've seen that wasn't a gimmick to it. And by gimmick, I don't necessarily mean like a tables match, but gimmick being, hey, this is good because look at this crazy action. Look how violent they are. Look how you know, just something that you could point to that says that it's great. This one has no one thing that I could point to and be like, yeah, this is why this is great. No, it's a collective work. And to their credit, for all of their matches, you know, whenever I've really sat down and watched each one in this series, they managed to do different things, subtle different things, but different things nonetheless. I was super impressed with this. It is a series of matches that you owe it to yourself as a wrestling fan to go check out. I think I will officially say that Okada, people probably should take classes on how Okada works, because he gets done. The way he carried himself as champion, with the minimum of moves that he do, even though he could do a lot of moves, he got stuff done with less. And all wrestlers can learn something from him. There's not really wasted moves. Doesn't really do moves just, you know, just because he can do them. And big ups to Kenny Omega. He's earned his spot as the champion of New Japan, and he deserves the praise that he gets. And you know, it was really a good match that I think all wrestlers and wrestling fans should check out, because you don't have to do insane things. And you'll hear older guys or former wrestlers or managers and bookers on these shoot interviews kind of talk about it, how people throw themselves at things so much just to get a rise out the crowd. But Okada Omega at Dominion this year proved that you don't necessarily have to do all of that to put on a great match. They did take risks, but when you look back on it, it wasn't nothing too extreme or too insane. And regardless, easily a 5-star match. It deserves the praise. You deserve to check it out. And until next time, I'll come at you again. Peace.
No, reverses it. Just toying with the competition a little. This one's getting ugly. This could do it. 2. I think that kick out surprised everyone.
It's hard to believe, but it looks like he still has some gas left in the tank.
Clobbers him with the axe handle. Taking him a while to get up here.
I don't think he has anything left, Michael. Uh-oh. I'm afraid to think what's going to happen next.
Incoming.
Ain't no stopping him now.